Where does certainly your perceived self-belief and confidence come from? Where does it come from?
I spent a lot of time with Sir Ian Botham over the years. It probably comes from that. He was my hero. When I was 16, it was Botham's Ashes in '81, and actually I looked to people like him who had this kind of unshakable belief and self-confidence, and he's a mutual friend of ours. But he's somebody that's my idea of the kind of person that made this country great. He's somebody who keeps looking ahead, doesn't look back. He doesn't mope and moan about life's travails. He stands up for himself and his family and his friends. And I think that I come from a slightly old school, I guess, of a family of very strong women. My mum, my grandmother in particular, tough people who have had tough lives, and their response was always to get themselves up off the floor when bad stuff happened and roll their sleeves up and crack on with life. That's just what I was brought up in, and that's the attitude that I have to life. And I think life's tough and it will bring you a lot of knocks, and it's how you deal with the knocks that actually can define how you lead your life.
Would you ever admit to ever having self-doubt?
I once admitted I was wrong about something, but I later realised I was wrong about that.
And what about, you've had setbacks in your career. I don't want to dwell on any of those, but how did you deal?
I think your audience might want you to dwell on those.
Well, how did you deal with those setbacks?
Look, I was fired in very ignominious fashion from the Daily Mirror. It was a very personally awkward time for me because my brother was on the front line in Basra in the Iraq War, and we were exposing some of the more rogue element of the British troops who had been doing bad stuff. The stories were never denied, the pictures were contested, never really got to the bottom of it. But it was a wake-up call. After 10 years of being editor of the Daily Mirror, suddenly I was literally thrown into the street in my shirt sleeves by security and I had to get myself home. Ian Botham was one of the first people who rang me. I remember that, and said, don't worry, you're going to be fine. That was actually a really nice thing for him to do. But I got home and actually it was quite cathartic. I suddenly had none of the pressures of running a big newspaper with all the staff. I was getting a bit bored anyway, and I decided to turn what could have been to some people a disaster, where I was leading the news for 3 days in a shameful, scandalous manner to many people. But I decided instead just to have a great summer. I had my highest batting average ever that year. Played like a god because I had no pressure, no strain. I went and saw friends. I turned my phone off at night and had a great night's sleep, and it was very cathartic and actually a very useful part of my life. And I also learned that old Winston Churchill quote, success really is going from failure to failure without any loss of discernible enthusiasm. And I've always been a glass half full kind of guy. So even when things have gone bad or people perceive them to be really bad for me, I've actually always been fine with that. And I was fine with the Mirror thing. And a few months later, Simon Cowell took me out for lunch at the Belvedere in Holland Park. And he said, I've had an idea for a talent show, and you have 3 judges and a buzzer and whatever. And a year later, I was a judge on America's Got Talent. It became a #1 show on American TV. And I was so glad that I'd been fired from the Mirror, or I'd have still been in Canary Wharf, 20 floors up, pounding a newspaper out every night. Instead, I was doing 2 days work a week for millions of dollars, having a great time. And the message of that is, if you let life's difficult moments suck you down, then you'll just remain sucked down. If actually you see everything, however bad or good, as an opportunity, then I think it's a more healthy and positive mindset.
One final question, and this is particularly for the students in our audience. There's over 100 students. Give them one life lesson that you think is important.
Don't be a snowflake, all right? And I've got 3 sons of 25, 21, and nearly 18. And I say to them all the time, this snowflake thing is not actually designed to make you all feel bad. It's like, don't be weak, be strong. Look at everything from a position of positivity. Look at things that need to be overcome as challenges which can be fun. Don't let the bad stuff in life suck you down. Winning is not the be all and end all, but it's better than losing. And I think, obviously, be kind to people, be generous if you can, be good to your family, be loyal to your friends, all those things.